let's just give it another minute to see if we get any other attendees, and then I guess we'll start the meeting. I guess we can go ahead and get started. Yeah, as I mentioned, Larry is traveling, so I expect this is probably going to be a short meeting. Essentially, if anybody has progress to report on any of the areas that we usually discuss on this call, feel free to add it to the agenda. That's really helpful, so we don't lose track of that. And if there's anything you want to discuss, go ahead. And I can go down the list, I guess, of topics that we usually talk about and ask if there's any updates on these specific topics. On-ramp, I expect there's probably not any updates there since Larry usually gives those, but does anyone else have anything to say about on-ramp?
Yeah, this is Pritam from GS Lab.
Hi.
So on Aether ramp, actually, we observed some failures on Aether ramp with AMP with Ubuntu 22.04 previously. But when I change the sequence of deployment, then after that job is going smoothly.
Okay, so that problem is resolved by changing the order?
Yeah.
Great. I'll note that. So I know that it's been posted in the Slack channel that there's a number of jobs now testing different combinations. Can you just kind of summarize what are the combinations being tested?
Yeah, it's Aether ramp on both 20.04 and 22.04 with AMP, without AMP, and on a single node and a multi-node cluster. Those are the combinations.
Okay, great. And the only case that you've observed failures so far is the 2204 with AMP?
Yes, on single node.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but that also get resolved after changing the sequence.
Yeah. Great. Well, that sounds like good progress.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the QA jobs, I see a couple of other bullets added about SD Core 1.3 automation, performance testing. Should we just go ahead and finish talking about Aether QA?
Yeah,
sure. Kunal, can you please?
Yeah, I'll take this up. For SD Core version 1.3 automation, so for test automation, we have we have created a job for running our suite after deployment. So we are seeing around 45 test cases getting passed out of 76. So so for all the other issues, we are debugging the debugging our code and see what exactly is failing there. But those are majorly, I mean, whatever we have seen so far, we have got major issues with the environment related things. So, um, yeah, I mean, whenever there is a difference in environment, we do see some change, some issues there. So we are debugging failures, and hopefully we'll be, uh, I mean, fix those issues by this week. Moving on to performance test, we have created a few setups for it. So one of the setup where we are using a physical UE with access to internet. So we are deploying a core and attaching a UE to it and directly trying to access internet from there and check the speed test. And after running a speed test, we are getting some megabits, but yeah, I mean, we are expecting something in gigabytes, but yeah, so far we are just getting in megabits. So we have, I mean, just to isolate the setup from the all the other, you know, you can say other things like there could be some environment related issues, there could be some fluctuation in the bandwidth. So just to isolate this setup, we have planned to have a local speed test server in our lab, and uh, we are going to test speed on our local speed test server.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, just remove the internet connection as a potential bottleneck.
Yeah, right.
And if you have any specific numbers that you want to report here for the performance, please go ahead and add those to the agenda.
Sure.
It's just nice to document, like, you know, what kind of performance are we seeing? I mean, you said, you know, megabits instead of gigabits, and yeah, I get
Mhm.
that that's unexpectedly poor, but you know, any numbers could help, I think.
Sure. Yeah, I'll update the document that we have created for performance test, and we will attach those that document in the agenda.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
I think that's all from Ether QA point of view.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that all sounds pretty good. Um, okay, so yeah, going back to the top of the agenda, I guess we jumped into QA when we were talking about on-ramp. Does anybody have any other on-ramp related items to discuss?
Hello. I think I can give an update on that. So I was working on adding support for multiple UPFs. That part is done. I have pushed my change to the GitHub repo. I have not made the pull request yet. I just need some more testing, but the support has been added in there.
Great.
Yep.
All right. That sounds good. Anything else for on-ramp? All right. SD-RAN, anything to say there? I think usually there's not. Okay, SD core, anybody from the SD core team on the call? All right, well, any other agenda items that anybody has, anybody wants to talk about? Going once.
No, nothing on
twice.
rock either, Andy.
Okay, great, thanks, Sean. All right, well, I think I guess we're done with the meeting today, unless there's any objections. And yeah, it's a quick meeting. Yep.
I get at the questions. I joined a bit late. Can you guys tell me what was the issue that you guys were facing for AMP? Failure for QA? The 22.04 it's Ubuntu or uh, versus single node versus multi-node?
Yeah,
Can you
it's
guys-
Ubuntu.
And what
So
was the issue you guys were facing?
yeah, if we deploy Ether on ramp with AMP, so if the order is like first deploy core and then AMP, then it gives us a failure. Whereas if we deploy AMP before core, then it works fine.
So I guess there is a flag for that. If you there's a standalone flag for that. So if you don't want to use AMP, like you want to deploy course as a standalone, you don't want data from AMP at all, then you need to set that thing as true.
Okay.
So yeah, you should look into that. So for example, the thing is that AMP, so if you put the standalone to false, the code will expect some data from AMP. And if you want to, if you set it to true, then it will take the data from 5G values file for the SD code that it has. So it has some random values for testing. So yeah, if you can check with that, this standalone flash, that should be give you a good results, I guess.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we will disable it and check if that helps. Thanks. Thanks
Sure.
for it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for that. Okay. Is there anything else? Going once, going twice. All right. In that case, I think we're all done. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah.
See you guys.